What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to an angry match reaction here on Anfield Agenda after Liverpool have been beaten and deservedly beaten by 3 goals to 2 at Brentford. A result that makes that 5 Premier League losses in a row, I believe, for Liverpool under Arne Slot. And the big question tonight is, when have you personally had enough? In the stream, of course, there were lots of angry Liverpool fans, lots of reactionary Liverpool fans, and some defending the manager and the new team. I bit my tongue during the whole game because I wanted to have my say in the match reaction. You guys have asked me where I'm at, what it's going to take before I'm slot out. Well, I'm going to let you know in the next few seconds. Before that, though, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's joining us. You've every right to be disappointed and angry, and any opposition fans coming in to banter us. We deserve every single bit of your banter, so there'll be no pushback from me on it. Appreciate you being in. If you did enjoy the stream or do enjoy it, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe as we're closing in on 355,000 subscribers. Look, I'm going to call it as I see it. 1 result, 2 result, 3 results, fair enough. You lose some games, it happens. I understand people talking about growing pains and new players being knitted together. But ultimately, what has me on the brink, and that's where I am, I'm on the brink of saying the manager has to go. And I know some people will say, damn right, Craig, and some people will say, nah, man, you're way too early. But I can only tell you what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is a group of players that look lost. What I'm seeing is a team that doesn't seem to have any tactical nous to it. What I'm seeing is a bunch of players who don't either understand what they're doing or don't give a shit. And I don't think it's the latter. And yes, there are extenuating circumstances, but this is unacceptable. We have standards at Liverpool Football Club. You don't lose 5 league games on the trot as Liverpool manager, let alone doing it after spending almost £500 million. There are simple things you can do to fix it, and let's call it like it is. Slot's a coward. Slot is a coward. Slot is a coward. I'm going to say it again. Arne Slot is a coward. And why is he a coward? Because he keeps playing Mohamed Salah when he clearly is so far off it. Now, don't get me wrong. Mohamed Salah wasn't the reason we lost that game tonight. The manager was. Him insisting on going with Milos Kerkez, who looks like a headless chicken, was. And not calling out the lack of defending from our captain is pathetic. Our defence is weak. Our captain is playing weak. Canade is weak. We are being bullied by teams, and the only way our centre-backs can defend is by putting an arm in the back. Virgil gave away 1 penalty tonight and was lucky not to give away another. So it is up to each and every one of you to decide when you have seen enough, but I'm nearly there, because we're not seeing progression. This doesn't look to me like a team with a lot of new players in it who are just trying to find a way to knit together. It looks far worse than that. We often laughed at the likes of Eric Ten Hag and Ruben Amorim talking about a team with no identity. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a Liverpool fan looking at a team with no identity. A team that are great with sound bites. A team that love talking about keeping out the outside noise. Well, how about listening, Virgil, to the outside noise? How about listening to the Liverpool fans who are quite simply fucking sick of looking at that? Quite simply sick of seeing misplaced passes, second balls not won, set piece after set piece goal. Unacceptable. You're on about 350 grand a week and you're out there playing like it's a stroll in the park. Kerkez is a liability at this point, and the fact that Arne keeps playing him, it's on him. It's on him. Look, I can't tell you if Salah's finished or not, but what I can tell you is he isn't good enough for now. And the absolute disrespect of Chiesa is also a piss take. We are so far away from being anywhere near the level of challenging for the Premier League title this year. And yes, the start of the season we had good results. But answer me this. Have you ever seen a performance from us this season that showed you that we were going in the right direction? Sincerely. Have you seen a performance that showed once that we're going in the right direction? I haven't. And that is what's worrying me. Results can be difficult. Results can go against you. But the manager just doesn't seem to have the balls to take the players that have a reputation off. Again, it's not 1 week, it's not 2 weeks, it's not 3 weeks. This is on Arne Slot, and I've said it over and over again. The manager's decisions will ultimately make or break his time at Liverpool. Last season, and I will still argue that it wasn't Klopp's team that won the league. I will still argue that it was Arne Slot's man management and the way he kept them fit that helped us win that league. But this season, We've brought in a load of players and the manager doesn't have a clue what to do with them. The manager doesn't have a clue what way to set them up. And he keeps doing the same things over and over. If I hear the words low block one more fucking time from our manager, I'm going to cry. He goes on like teams sitting back and defending and taking long throw-ins is illegal. No, they just know that we're weak. That's the problem, Arna. They know that we're weak. They know that we can be gotten at. And rather than stand up and accept the fight and accept the challenge, again today we were left wanting. Again today we were second best. That isn't good enough. That isn't acceptable. This is Liverpool Football Club, where winning is a given. You lose 5 league games in a row after spending almost £500 million. And regardless of the extenuating circumstances, that is unacceptable. Our 2 centre-backs have no pressure on them because there's nobody breathing down their neck. Our superstar right winger has no pressure on him because he knows that he can go out there and take a shite in the middle of the pitch and Arne Slot will stand there and applaud the shit and hand him the toilet roll. That is where we are at right now. Isak, Gravenberch injuries, fair enough, that's unlucky. But honestly, do you think it would have made any difference? So the big question that I don't know, and I can't answer is, has he lost the dressing room? I don't know the answer to that. But they're not looking like players who are running through a brick wall. Look at that Brentford team. Now, whatever else you think, that's a team that's been decimated by losing their best players, lost their manager, but they still look better drilled than us. They still look more determined than us. They still look like they wanted it more than us. Collins and the centre-backs throwing themselves on the ground to block shots. Meanwhile, what do our centre-backs do? Push a player in the back. That's all they can do. Don't go to ground. They're too fucking cool for that. Just to push in the back and stand there. It's unacceptable. It's a joke. It's not good enough. So I've had my say. And yes, it's been a bit of a rant, but I told you it was coming. I don't know if I'm at Slot out yet, but I ain't far away. Because you keep doing the same things over and over again and nothing different is coming of it. He didn't make the adjustments at half-time. And again at the end of the pitch, it was just hit and hope. We are clueless. We are devoid of an identity, and that is a big, big, big worry. So, like I've said, individual, up to you whether you decide it's Slot out now or give him a bit more time. I'm not going to judge you for it. But as a Liverpool fan right now, I'm apoplectic. I'm absolutely seething with the state of our performances. And again, a manager who gets a result and regresses back. Why are we playing players who are out of form? And the fact that we have to play Virgil and Canade because we've got no other options is a joke. Kirkes is a liability and he will come good. But right now he's a liability. And you have Andy Robertson who played brilliantly in midweek and has been the better left back and you're not playing him. Throwing on Rio Ngamoa again when we're in the shit is not going to build up the young man's character. The time to bring Rio Ngamoa on the pitch was away against Frankfurt when we were 4 or 5-1 up when he had no pressure on him. But we're throwing the kid in when it's up against the wall time. It's not good enough, lads. It's not good enough. Remember, we are the defending Premier League champions and we're playing like we just met each other. We're playing like we don't understand. That's unacceptable. Losing games of football happens, but we haven't been unlucky. We've just been shit. Right, I'm going to go through your comments now. So Mark Pep said, Slot has been found out. No hate, but let's call a spade a spade. Defending is the most concerning. The defending is absolutely shocking. Absolutely. Like, Canade sitting there thinking about Real Madrid, right? Do you think that Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid are looking at the way we're playing and thinking, I cannot wait to get Canade? Because him and Virgil are all over the place. All over the place. And the whole left-hand side, you can take it all the way from Virgil to Kirkes through to midfield. The whole left-hand side just looks absolutely devoid of ideas. Blizzard said completely deserved. Can't see us getting better. And congratulations to Brentford, by the way, because they deserved their victory today. And we often forget about that when we talk about match reactions and stuff. But Brentford deserved their victory. N01R Beat said, just a reminder, we spent $500 million on this. I know, mate. I know. And it looks like we spent it because, I don't know, they were cool names. Because it doesn't look like he had a plan, does it? It doesn't look like he knows what to do with the players he brought in. Joseph Purvis said, at least Brentford have an identity. Love you, Craig. You're right. We don't have an identity. And again, moderators, please understand anybody in the chat bantering us. We deserve to be bantered. Let them have their say. Because I'm a footy fan. I live for banter. I can take it. I can give it. We deserve it. United are ahead of us in the league. Let that sit in. United, who were a laughing stock a month ago, are ahead of us in the league table. We have turned a 5 point gap over Arsenal into now potentially a 7 point deficit. Let that sink in. In a run of 5 losses, we've gone from 5 points clear to maybe 7 points behind if Arsenal win. That is unacceptable. And what does our manager do during the international break? Does he sit there losing sleep? Does he sit there with the coaches having a heart-to-heart? No, he fucks off, packs up his Factor 50 and heads off to Dubai for a jolly up. Absolute bullshit. Nonsense. Lewis said, worst performance I've seen since Roy Hodgson days. Aaron Garza said, no European footy next year is a legitimate concern. Ryan Dior said, almost $500 million spent and we look like a bunch of Sunday League amateurs. No more excuses. I'm sorry. I'm losing so much faith in Slot. I'm done. Tom said, couldn't get a draw. Cheating. I don't know. How are we cheating, Tom, mate? I mean, I'm all for the banter and stuff, dude, but honestly, how are we cheating, mate? I don't understand where you're going with that. My only conclusion to these performances is that he's lost the dressing room. A performance at home to Villa with a loss, Arno will be gone. Look, we've got Villa, we've got Palace, then Villa, then Man City. So if this doesn't stop, in the space of a week we'll be out of the League Cup and we'll be further down the league table away from the European places. Do you think if we go to the Etihad and play like that, we're not getting a spanking? Erling Haaland must be sitting at home with an erection the size of the fucking Eiffel Tower, delighted at the idea of coming up against Van Dijk and Kanade, because he's going to bitch slap the pair of them. Let's call a spade a spade. He's sitting at home now with a horn on him like you've never seen before, raring, T-bone steak in one hand, fucking milk in the other hand, absolutely licking his lips at the idea of bullying our two centre-backs. If FSG decide to never spend 400 million in a window ever again or give out big contracts to players in the 30s again, we can't really blame them. Verge said, I'm so sorry, but this clown needs to be sacked. I'm done with this. How can everybody see that tactics are not working? Salah still plays, Kirk as shit. So, the only thing I'd argue about there, Verge, is you said tactics. I don't see any tactics, bro. And that's like, I've no argument about most of what you said, but I don't see any tactics. We don't have any tactics. What are the tactics? What is the identity? Pass it along the sideline. And even at that, even in the basic bitch stuff of passing it across the back line, we're playing it 10 yards behind our own players. Their first goal came from Conor Bradley being unable to control the ball, juggling it on the sideline and then letting it roll out. And then they go with a long throw in and score. The next goal, that comes from us giving away the ball in the centre of the park. One pass to our centre-backs and they're clean through one goal. It's simple stuff. Simple fucking stuff. NO1 or Beat said, making substitutions that make no sense at all. Forcing Dom to play 3 roles in one match. By the way, he was by far our best player again. So there is a poll up at the minute where Arne Slot out, Arne Slot unsure but leaning out, unsure but leaning in or in. Connor put that poll up, so do vote on it and we'll leave it run for the whole match reaction and we'll see where you guys are at the end of it. Where am I at? Chibi said, the next 4 games, Palace, Villa, Madrid, City are tough even when you're playing well. Slot could easily have 9 defeats in 10 games. Yep, 1958 or 53, something along those lines, was the last time Liverpool lost 5 league games in a row. And for any manager at any time in any era, that's unacceptable. Let alone a manager who's just been given £500 million. Unacceptable. And again, he pissed off to Dubai for a jolly up in the middle of the season. For what reason? I'd have been at the AXA with the coaches having a screaming match trying to figure this out. I would be at the kitchen table every night unable to sleep. I would be obsessed with turning this around and winning. But Arne packs up the factor 50 and fucks off to Dubai. And then what? We come back, we lose to United, we go midweek, change stuff at work. So what does he do? Revert back again. And we lose. Shock horror. Who would have fucking thunk it? Maddie Gorman said, no plan to get the ball up the pitch, no identity, no sense of where we're going, and most scary thing is it doesn't look like it's going to get better. Colin Flores said, shocking system, tactics, lineup, no fight or ability to create or dominate any phase of the game. Can't see Slot turning this around. I've had enough of him. Craig, I'm absolutely raging. So sad. You're right to be angry. You're right to banter us. I just feel sorry for my fellow Liverpool fans at this point, because the multi-millionaires are going to be all right. You know, for many of us, this is a big point in our week. We look forward to this probably too much at times. And if I hear the words low block or long throw in from Arne Slot in this press conference, I sincerely hope somebody comes up and tangos him, because it's absolutely joke. It's a fucking joke. You know, teams don't have to come and open up and play against us. But when you spend £500 million and you're unable to unpack a low block, which, by the way, I don't particularly think we've played against in some of these games, but a long throw-in undoes us yet again. What's the point? We've got Virgil and Canada jumping up and down on their toes on the 6-yard box. What the fuck is that doing? Win the first ball. And if you don't win that, win the fucking second ball. But no, let's stand off and look cool. You know, let's put the ball out. Let's not go to ground. Let's not put blocks in. Let's not stop crosses. And when we do get in the opposing area, stop me if you've heard this one before, how many times do we just cut back inside and curl an inward cross to nobody that doesn't get past the first man on the edge of the 6-yard box? Dominic Szoboszlai has a corner at the end of the game where the referee, for the first time that I've seen, gave a corner against the goalkeeper hanging on the ball for too long. And what does Szoboszlai do? He doesn't beat the first man on the corner. First fucking man. Our whole team, goalkeeper, everybody's up, and he doesn't beat the first man at the near post. Go deep. Give it a bit of air. Give them a chance to fight for it. It's just ridiculous. Can see FSG having a chat with Slot. Daniel said, this started at the back end of last season, like you said, Craig. Mate, I get so much grief a lot of the time, and I'm right. I was right last season, and I'm right now. I was right when I said you can't just switch form on and off, and I don't care whether you've won the league title or not. You win the league title, so what? You keep winning games of football, because standards need to be set. Winning is a habit. You can't switch on and off form when you want. So yes, we won the league, but we absolutely just went to town and partied, and then over the summer did the same thing. It's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable that we're in this position. And the manager has to be accountable for it. He just has to be. Because he's not playing failing players. He just keeps trotting them out. Because of what? He keeps banging on about what Salah's done in the past. We're all aware of it, Arne. We all idolise the man. But if my job was on the line, would I be just turning to players who are failing week after week because they did it last year and the year before? No! I would go with players who have something to prove, players who want to be there, and players who look like they give a shit. Our captain talks a great game, talks about blocking out the outside noise. No, Virgil, listen to the noise. Because what you're not hearing is fans upset at your lackadaisical defending, at your lackadaisical attitude, which is seeping through that fucking defence. Chris Thorne said, if Kojak hasn't turned it around by next international break, then he's gone for me. Well, we do have a poll in the chat on this one, so we want you to have your say on it. Ben said, Szoboszlai is the only one looking like a Liverpool player, the only one trying to win. I would agree. I think Szoboszlai is being good this season. I think Jones was decent again. McAllister hasn't showed up this season. Salah hasn't showed up this season. Isak hasn't really got the grips with it yet. Kirkaz looks a million miles off it. Who knows where he wants Frimpong to play, because I'm fucked if I know at this point. And we've no depth at centre-back. but he just keeps trotting out the same two. I don't know. That's where I'm at. And we've no competition at left wing as well. Gakpo can just keep cutting in on the right forever and taking shots and skying them, but the manager keeps playing the same thing over and over and over again. Dude, you blaming Szoboszlai of all people. Did you hear what I said? I don't know if you misheard me, dude, but I said Szoboszlai was good. He's one of the only good players. And the corner is what I moaned at him about. That's the only thing I gave out about Szoboszlai, is that you've got a corner at the end of the game. And what you're going to do is give them a chance to fight for it, right? You need to get it to that penalty spot and give your centre forwards, your goalkeeper who was up for it, and everybody else a chance to fight for it. But he didn't beat the first man. So that's the only thing you've heard me say negative about Szoboszlai. And I'm not wrong. He's been very good for us. Of course he has. But that was a chance at the end of the game to give us something to fight for in the penalty area. And you don't beat the first man. It's not right. We're talking about professional footballers here. Ben said Szoboszlai is the only one looking like a Liverpool player, the only one trying to win. Rusba said there is no hint of Jurgen's team. No pressing, no direct play. Our playing style is awful. He's not getting the best of any of our players. Slot is out of his depth. Bring Jurgen back. Gary Mackay said Slot is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. HPT said, I'm convinced Slot has spent 500 million on Barbie dolls. What's bizarre is they all seem to forget how to even do the basics. Said Vavak Knives. Yeah, you're right. Simple passes. Like, again, look at their second goal. Comes from us giving the ball away. I've said this for 4 or 5 years about Liverpool. We are at our most vulnerable when we have the ball and we're attacking. Because once we turn it over, we seem to be unable to rescue the situation. One pass splits Virgil and Canade again, who are about 15 yards away from each other, and it's a one-on-one and they score. From us misplaying a pass in the opposition half. It's comical at this point. No soul, no cohesion, no Slot, said Hugo. Tyler Martin said Slot has to go now. Embarrassing. Our centre-backs are a disgrace, and now Man United are above us in the league. Just embarrassing, unacceptable, disgusting. Yeah, it's so difficult in these angry moments to try to have any type of clarity of thought, because you want to give the benefit of the doubt as a fan. You do. Of course you do. You want to make allowances. But when you see the manager just doing the same things and it's not working, and it doesn't even look close to working, like, where is the press? Because if there was one team out there today pressing, it was the ones in red and white. They were chasing us around the pitch. They were harassing us. They weren't giving us time to settle. They were the ones pressing. I don't understand what he's trying to do. We went from a team that condensed the pitch, that pressed high up the pitch, that defended from the front, that turned over possession to create chances in the opposition half, who looked like we were absolutely men-possessed, to a team that are lackadaisical, have no fight, have no intensity, and are losing every second ball. Somebody said to me, and I don't have the actual stat to back this up or not, but they said something along the lines of Salah lost 9 out of 9 duels. Any player out there on the pitch losing that many duels is unacceptable. Brian Danielson said, this is exactly what Klopp spoke about, buying players to win, but no plan, and ultimately losing. Money can't buy you love. Hugh is NW, said, Slot turning us into Ten Hag's team. If this was United and Ten Hag, I'd be sitting back laughing at them, which is why I've had no problem with anybody coming in and laughing at us, because we deserve to be laughed at. This team deserves to be laughed at, because it's unacceptable. Again, manager will cry arse about a low block and throw-ins and bullshit, everything else except looking inwardly and asking why his players and his tactics aren't working. Sonder said, low blocks. Yeah, that's fine, Arna, but maybe don't let them score and use the low block. And I'd rather watch us play a low block compared to whatever he's trying to do. My eyes. Eddie Cox-Wilkins said, is there anyone that can save Liverpool? There's only one man that can save Liverpool, and that's Stevie G. I mean, It'd be a no for me on the Stevie G front, mate. Gerrard on an interim until the summer, said Lewis Merritt. Somebody needs to make a decision. Said Dahi, which is Dave Sweeney. No, Sanchez says the thing that Gakpo has more goals and he hasn't been great speaks a lot for Aaron has done to me is we lose the next 2 games. Excuse me, we lose the next 2 games. Again, we just look devoid of an identity. That's all I can keep coming back to. You know, sometimes in football you're unlucky and you lose a few, whatever. But we just have no identity at the minute. None. And the manager needs to start holding his hands up or it's just going to get worse. So here's a stat for you. Liverpool have lost 11 of their last 25 league games. Liverpool Football Club have lost 11 of their last 25 league games. Jordan Henderson said it's just a matter of time before Liverpool find rhythm and get going again. I think he's just trying to be kind. Van Dijk said, disappointed about losing here. We know what their strengths were and what they were going to try to do. We need to be spot on with the quality they had. It was a disappointing night overall. Tough to take, but the reality is we need to keep going. No, Virgil, the reality is it's a fucking piss take, bro. That's the reality. The reality is you can talk about knowing what they're going to do all day, but you did nothing to stop it. The reality is, mate, that they were a lower bottom half table team before we started this game today. That's the reality, Virgil. The reality is you're leading a group of players who look like they don't want to be out there. You're leading a group of players who look lost, Virgil. That's the fucking reality, bro. Henderson said, from start to finish, we stuck together. Liverpool are a world-class side, world-class team, so it'll be a lot of defending to do. The way we defended together, stayed composed on the ball rather than kicking it forward. So I've sat back and watched United come to play us and many other teams. And it seems to be that all these teams need a couple of chances, 3-4 chances to score 2 goals. How many shots, how many times do we attack in a game? And we just, again, aimless attacking. Just hopeful balls into the penalty area. Genuinely, the way we lump balls in with these stupid crosses, you'd swear we had Crouchy in there. We just are clueless in attack. And our defence is invisible. Invisible. Is anybody in that dressing room getting angry? Is anybody in that dressing room demanding better? Because it just looks as if they don't give a shit. See, this pisses me off. Virgil said, the fans who were celebrating with us last year should stand with us now. Why the fuck is it always on us, Virgil? Why is it always on the fans? We have to applaud Trent when he snaked us and fucked off. Now we have to applaud you guys not putting a shift in. It's just everybody else's fault, isn't it, Virgil? It's everybody else's fault but yours and the players and the manager. How about you get the finger out? How about you stop pushing players in the back? How about you start going to ground and blocking shots? How about you start rallying the troops? How about some fucking inward looking and thinking, Virgil? How about that, fella? Easy. Just blame the fans, Virgil. Blame the fans. It's our fault that you use our shit. It's our fault. It's our fault, mate. You'll still collect your 350 grand a week, though. But we'll all just sit here and say, oh, well, we've got to support them. Of course we want you lads to do better. Of course we want to look at better. Of course we want to see. But there is no process that we're seeing. If we were seeing slight improvements, if we were seeing a standard of play which has caused simple mistakes or causing us errors, we might be a bit more understanding. But we don't. We have no idea. If this was a team with a new manager that was trying to pass out from the back and we were making errors in that system, you'd at least say to yourself, I can understand what we're trying to do. But we don't. We look like we're clueless. Van Dijk, on a lack of clean sheets, has said, it's difficult to say. The fact we didn't keep a clean sheet for 9 games, it's easy to blame a particular person, the backline or set pieces, but it's a collective thing in the end. Everybody has to look in the mirror, including myself. I'm sure we'll get out of this, but we won't do it by just talking about it. We'll try to improve. We need each other. We need support. We need the people who were celebrating with us last year to be with us now even more. We'll get out of this because we have the quality, and offensively and defensively. Virgil, you show no aggression. None. Zero. At the back. None. So you can keep talking about people trying to be with you. Well, they are, mate. They're showing up week after week. They're travelling up and down the country and around Europe. They're singing their hearts out. They're spending their hard-earned dough. And they're looking at that. They're looking at you giving away stupid penalties. They're looking at you lads heading the ball in the wrong direction. They're looking at set piece after set piece getting the better of you. Look inwardly, mate, because the fans are brilliant. The fans are always supportive, but they need to have something to work with. And looking like you couldn't give a shit and looking like you don't want to get your socks dirty is unacceptable. Where was I in here? I haven't seen Liverpool play like this since 1954, said Mimka. This one from Joseph Rawson said, we've always had them games where we can't break a team down and got stung, but Jesus Christ, teams are dominating games against Liverpool. Yep. So if we know we're going to face a low block, right, just as an example, if we know we're going to face a low block, why are we always so susceptible to being countered? Why is it a surprise to us that teams are going to counter and run at us? There's just so many holes in the arguments that they put up. Ultimately, it's just not good enough. And again, the players can't come out and say, I don't trust the manager. So there's a lot that players will say that they aren't saying. But the truth of the matter is, it is just not good enough. So Virgil can talk about the fans all he wants till the cows come home. But ultimately, it's on him as the leader to sort it out. It's on him and Arne to figure it out. And the lackadaisical defending is just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And I'm fed up of fans being scapegoated by these fucking multi-millionaires who don't want to get their socks dirty. Stop giving away stupid penalties, Virgil. Look at it. We lost the game by 1 goal. Maybe if you weren't too concerned about pushing people every time you get a fucking chance. Defend. Block. Put a fucking tackle in. It's infuriating. It's... Arne Slot, speaking about losses, said the most concerning thing is you lose 4 in a row after you judge performance. For me, this was one of the worst of all the losses. Yes, it was. It was. And it's 5 league games on the bounce, mate. 5. Slot also said football is about scoring goals, but also about not conceding goals. For so many games now, we've conceded 1, 2 or 3 goals, and every time, almost in the first 5 minutes, it would defensively help if we score goals, but that only helps if a team can keep a clean sheet. We scored 2 again today, bro. We scored 2 again. Problem is we conceded 3. 3. We've conceded roughly as many there tonight as Arsenal have all season in the league. Let that sink in, Arne. Let that fucking sink in. Lewis Steele reported Arne Slot asked if they worked on long throws. Come on, yeah, that's the only thing we did in the training pitch yesterday. They're known for set pieces and counter attacks. So you worked all day yesterday to prevent set pieces. And what was it? Was it a jumping up and down on your toes competition, Arne? Because if it was, Virgil won. Because that didn't look like a team that was well drilled for set pieces. Because, and here's the thing, stop giving them throw-ins when we could hook the ball back up the pitch. So many of our players were putting it out and giving them throw-ins. Conor Bradley's miscontrol led to the first goal. Canade at one point could have hooked the ball back upfield but put it out, and guess what they did from that? Went for another long throw-in. So if you know somebody's good at a particular thing, don't fucking give them help with it. Arna on the penalty, difficult. Had the referee not given the free kick, not sure it would have been given the penalty for that. but he gives the free kick and the VAR said it's inside. Then you have to accept it's inside. If the referee gives the free kick, it's overturned. It's overturned to penalty. If we look at the same situation with Cody in the first half, it was more than this. But if you can't compare the situations because the referee, I don't think he is planning to give a penalty. But because it was inside, it was overturned to a penalty. So long and short, Arna, it was a penalty, is what you're saying. But how about the push from Virgil before that? And then the push from Canale on Thiago when he was going for a shot? Because that seems to be the only thing our centre-backs can do, is lean into and push a player and hope to get him off balance, but not enough to give away a penalty. This one from Sonder. I'd eat life supply of broccoli rather than watching Ireland the ball. Slot needs to be interested in the basics. Go to a 4-4-2, said Liverpool Shorts. Tom Urry said, okay, even I've had enough now. I tried to be positive as possible with this manager, but the way we played today is not good enough. Goodbye, Slot. I hope. Vert BRT said, I can't believe it. United clear. Yeah, look, mate, fair play. I'm not a hater. You know, you're above us in the league table and we need to look inwardly. Is it this has to change, the system? We see other managers do it. Why does the concept seem so foreign to him? We have the depth and profiles, use them. Ashley said, he's completely clueless. He really is. If he loses the Villa and City, get rid. Mashkuyo said, VVD and Canade haven't made a slide tackle since 2022. Well, Canada made one against United. Go no, because he did it right in front of me. But I get your point, mate. The two lackadaisical, and Virgil in particular seems, you know, somebody said that the term aura defending. That makes sense to me because he doesn't seem to want to do what Collins and their centre backs are doing, which is get blocks in and put your body on the line. Do you think the season's gone? No. The league, yes. The league's gone. There's no chance of winning the league this season. But you can never write out the Champions League if you can get it right before the knockout stages. You know, cup competitions are somewhat of a lottery as well, but the league's gone. You know, there's no way we're winning the league now. Arsenal can go 7 points clear of us tomorrow. And again, you know, it doesn't look like we're turning it. If we were, like I said at the very start of this, if we were shown signs that we were progressing week on week, I would be far more calm about it. But it's not. It's the same stuff over and over again. And it looks like there is no idea of what we want to do. Alexander said, Craig, do you think eventually Jurgen will come back? I really wouldn't know, mate. I really wouldn't know. Yeah, I don't know. Gio said, I don't know when we actually win another Premier League game. Dave said, somebody make a decision, Arna or FSG. Iriola also just thrown in Javi, said Ken Hare. Owen White said, he took off our playmaker and brought on a centre-back. I actually couldn't believe that, Owen. Like, I truly, mate, could not believe that. Couldn't believe it. I had to double check that it wasn't an injury at that point. David Bryan said, Craig, you're absolutely right about everything as per usual. Nail on the head about Slot and the individual errors. What makes me most sad is even with the refs' help, we still get battered. I just get a real cob on with anybody who says about us fans. It's not on us to turn it around, Virgil. It's on you, the multimillionaires, who have the talent to be at Liverpool Football Club. It's on you to turn it around. Those fans travelled from Liverpool to London to support you tonight. Those fans travelled over midweek to Germany to support you tonight. Spent their hard-earned money. So guilt-tripping the fans is bullshit. The fans will always be in the stadium behind the players. But the fans aren't going to just blow smoke up your arse for the sake of it. Because if there's one thing I like to think Liverpool fans are, it's knowledgeable and honest. And honestly, captain, that ain't good enough. That is not good enough. And it ain't on the fans. Andy, or AD Lee, excuse me, Iriola, and we can still finish top 4. Irish Legend said, don't get the Kirkes hate. He's better than Robbo. Robbo has been a fault for many goals. Chiesa runs around and gets the odd goal. Salah all day. So, on the Kirkes stuff, again, I can only be responsible for what I say. I've said I don't think he's ready yet. There's obviously a talented fullback in there, but he looks like a headless chicken now. I don't think that's debatable from what we've seen this season. And also, yellow card. How many times in the first half of games now has he picked up a yellow card? You're right in what you say about Robbo. Last year, we all sat here, all of us, and said we badly need a new left back. But right now, he's better than Kirk is. So Robbo should be playing. That's my opinion on it, mate. But of course, you are absolutely entitled to yours. And I don't think it's Kirk's hate so much as it is an opinion based off what we're seeing. Gary said, understandably a lot of anger in the chat, but if we sack Slot, who replaces him? I can't think of a manager good enough and available at the minute. Look, it's a fair question, Gary. And like I said, it's up to each individual person, mate, to say where they're at in the Arne Slot situation. Who replaces him is a very good question. I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to think solely about managers who aren't in a job right now, but off the top of my head, Iriola is one name. Dare you ask Jurgen to come back? Probably not, but I don't know, mate. I don't know, and it's a horrible conversation to have, if we even have to have it. Again, it's an individual choice, but I think a lot of us are just struggling to figure out how you go backwards after spending the money. Like, backwards. That's the worrying part here. We've won games this season, and we've lost games this season, but not really once have we played with an identity and a cohesion and looked like we're heading in the right direction. Colin Blackshaw said new players overhyped, Slot out of his depth. Mr. Creed MC said all that money spent and you go backwards. He said love it. Klopp watched the game. Klopp sees this. Come back. Noob, thank you, mate. Curtis Stell said, hey Craig, I really don't get our tactics. We play our fullbacks as wingers and yet we still passing around the back. Hope you and the family are okay. I don't understand what we're trying to do either, mate. You say tactics, I don't even see tactics, to be honest with you. Stephen Somerville said, I need to see Salah and Kirkes drop now, see Chiesa start now. If this form continues in the next games, then it will be worrying times for Slot. Will said, we were crying out FSG to spend. They spend big and we've gone backwards. Many players are underperforming and still being picked. It will be Arne, doesn't survive. Look, you're right. I certainly was right there at the very front of shouting for FSG to spend money. And they did. And we all said, well done. And thank you for that money spent. But I don't think any one of us would have felt like we were going to see this season. Like, we went from having probably the best transfer window in my lifetime to looking like we lost half the first team and have gone backwards. And yeah, there's bedding in processes. I do get that. But I don't feel this is a bedding in process. I feel this is a system thing. I feel this is a manager thing. Because there is no... Like I said, if we were playing out from the back and players were making mistakes doing that, you could at least say, well, it might come good when they understand what the manager wants. But there doesn't seem to be a clear identity to the way he wants to play. He's not playing with a high press that's effective. He's not keeping possession to stop counter-attacks. It's just slow, boring, and predictable. And it's predictable because teams clearly know how to get at us. And he just keeps complaining about low blocks and long throw-ins. I have Freedom Bro said, I still don't know why we don't play Chiesa. Foundation, Klopp has left, Slot is pissing away. Again, United fan said Craig, Slot. Well, no, to be honest, mate, I'd have put that right tonight ahead of Slot. So, yeah, that wouldn't... half of those lads wouldn't have got out of the dressing room at half time. They'd have been told to get back on the fucking coach if I was in charge. Steve Taylor said Slot only won the league because he had Klopp's team. See, I really don't believe that, Steve, and I'm going to try to explain why. Arne won the league title with the same group of players that Klopp didn't win the league title with before. And the reason I'm so adamant on this, mate, is because I think that the difference between the two seasons was the fact that Arne and Ruben Peters were just able to keep some of the lads injury-free. So I think that doing that was the difference between the two seasons. Now, of course, the foundations were absolutely put there by Jurgen Klopp, but I really do feel it's unfair of us to say that it was just a formality because it was Klopp's team. Now, going backwards this season is absolutely on the gaffer. But I really don't think that it's as simple to say it was Klopp's team and Slot got lucky. I really don't. I think there was management involved in that as well. And some of that could be due with sports science and nutrition and keeping the lads fit. But all that aside, everything that's come this season and the end of last season has been an absolute shit show. Indian Elliott said, Slot got something with Chiesa. He deserves to start over Salah and he put in the work. Backline shambles like watching a 6-year-old football game. You're absolutely right on Chiesa. I don't know a Liverpool fan who doesn't think that Slot has something personal against Chiesa. Because there is no other rational reason at this point to understand why he isn't getting any starts. There isn't. None. And it goes all the way back to last year. Now look, Chiesa didn't pull up any trees today when he was out there. But still has done enough this season in the limited amount of games he's got to justify more chances. You know, it's difficult to ask somebody to come off the bench all the time to come in and make a difference. You need a rhythm. You need to play 4, 5, 6 games in a row. And Chiesa's never been given that opportunity in his Liverpool career. Never. Amash Red said last year, anyone talked about was we need a centre-back and a DM. We got neither. This is the result. No balance, no strength, knock us over with a feather. You're spot on about the centre-back. DM I understand as well, but certainly the centre-back is one that it feels like we were always an injury or one bad performance or one bad run of form from a centre-back away from this. But there's no accountability. You know, it's like I keep saying, nobody's looking over the shoulder and fearing who's going to take the shirt because they know I can have a stinker and there's nobody there. I'm still going to be playing. 450 million and no upgrade on a winning team. Noob said, need a Salah replacement ASAP, Semenyo in January. Chris WD8Y said, Slot thought we could walk the league this season by bringing in some names, but everybody strengthened and now we look pre-season and can't get going. Get Iriola, said Vavak Knives. At CM HT4LC said, hey mate, I'm late to the stream. Who have people said they want instead? Because we need to have a good gaffer, otherwise it could really damage us. Iriola's been the name that's come up most. Some shouts for Klopp, some shouts for Gerrard on an interim basis. But look, I don't think we're going to see the manager's job in trouble yet. Whatever we or you think as fans, I don't think it's going to happen. So we've had nearly 13,000 votes so far. I'm going to finish up the stream in a couple of minutes, by the way. But we have nearly 13,000 votes. And we asked, Arne Slot out, unsure but leaning out, unsure but leaning in, or in. And I'm going to let it get to 13,000 votes because it's a huge sample size. And then we'll see what people are saying. Jacko Venter said, something that irritates me is once Virgil makes a defensive mistake, he throws up his hands and tries to shift blame. It's bad form. Yep. And we called that out in the first half, particularly, mate. You're right. Tamer said, when your defence has more touches than your midfielders and strikers, yep, not a good sign. I'm not saying Slot's getting the sack, but if he does, who replaces him? Again, Iriola's the name that would jump into my mind, but even at that, there's concerns with that because it's another huge step up for a manager. It's time to say 150 million on flow. Well, it wasn't 150 million on flow, to be honest. It was 116, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Can he win any duels? Can he shoot? Arne under pressure. 100% Klopp didn't build this club for us to go back. It's BS. Dara Doyle said, I was with you on last season. Rot started then. Gary Shaw said, people saying Southgate needs a heads checking. Oh, mate, I'll just delete the channel if Gareth Southgate became Liverpool manager. I'm not even joking about that. I'll delete the channel if that happens. Swallow said, Liverpool did a PSG on it, went for marquee signings over gem development. Klopp's team had arguably one marquee in VVD, but wasn't cemented like now. Well, you have to say Salah was a marquee player as well, mate, but I get your point. BMAC, thank you. Amash Red said VVD would earn our respect if he took ownership for once. If it's never his fault during the game or after, it's disgraceful. Soboslai should be captain. At MJNZ said VVD, the fans are always there for you, for fuck's sake. Just want passion and your back, fight for us and the team. Exactly. I'm fed up of us being scapegoated because they can't be bothered to get their socks dirty. Getting sick of this now. Sack Slot today, said Aaron. Verge said, so this clown is talking about conceding goals and the dude has done absolutely nothing to change that. Again, blame referees and not himself. Big Bond said, if Slot gets sacked, who replaces him? Again, I'd have to have a long think about it, but Iriola's the first name that jumps into my mind. Or Klopp. Robertson said, post-match and coverage we have in Australia, you have no heart in games and no desire to win the game in particular. Well, that's not wrong. He's not wrong if he said that. We've gone from heavy metal football to lift music with Slot. Borom said, this is totally on the manager. Players look lost. The style of play doesn't work in Premier League anymore. Heard Big Ange is after a new challenge. Yeah, I'll pass on that one. God, imagine how worse our defending could get then. Klopp come back, send Salah, go. That'll be best. Kai said, if you could say one thing to Slot, what would it be? Why is there no accountability? Is probably what I would say, Kai. Why is there no accountability? Because there doesn't seem to be. It just seems to be, we'll keep throwing out the same players, talk about what they've done in the past, and then ignore the fact that it isn't happening now. And you've got no competition in some of these areas. Still no competition really on the right wing, because we'd say Chiesa's competition, but he's not because he doesn't get chances. No competition on the left side, even though he'd tell us Rian Mo is there, but he's not because he won't play him. So yeah, I'd ask why no accountability. Reality is we haven't played well since before PSG. Again, I agree. And I called it last season at the end of the season. I was told to shut up, we won the league. And stop moaning. But like I keep saying, you can't switch form on and off. Is it crazy that I would take Pep Linders for now? Well, I wouldn't, but I wouldn't. I'll be honest, mate, I wouldn't. Thank you. Didn't put in a comment, but thank you. Whale Galley said, we spent money on the wrong positions. We need a number 6 badly, and we should have never let Diaz go. Peter said, really can't understand why playing Kirkes and Salah. We miss Trent and a genie type. Tough times will push through. You'll never walk alone. Slot in. And thank you, Peter. Cornish Chuff, appreciate you, mate. Saunders said, Slot on if he worked on set pieces. Yeah, of course. It was all we worked on yesterday. Just got to say, well, that worked well, didn't it? Yeah, I know. We worked on it all day, but yeah, we were jumping up and down on our toes again. I think it's this we should give at least a season to Slot and the new signings. Just because he won the league last year doesn't mean we go after his head in the next season. Gave Jurgen 4 seasons. A lot has changed since the summer. Team chemistry takes time. So that's fair, mate. That's fair, Maverick. But what we've seen with Jurgen, even when, you know, in his first 3, 4, 5 years, always progression, an identity, a style, an understanding. I don't see that at the minute, mate, and that's what has me most concerned. I don't disagree with your point in theory. Credit in the bank for winning the league, fair enough. I do understand you on that one. But he doesn't look like he's figuring it out. And this doesn't look like teething problems. This looks like just a clear lack of identity. Slot living off a good 4 months. Ever since PSG's been like Linders, Ten Hag, Van Gaal and any other Dutch manager. Turgid, nothing passionate, only works against go-ahead Eagles, get Fabregas. John Allison said, if I was VVD, my post-match interview, it would have been completely bleeped out, would have lost it. Players need to show the passion of the fans. Saltman said, good day, shout out to my daughter, Alexia, who loves watching your show. Oh, thank you, Alexia. Sorry about the ranting today, my friend, but much love to you and your daughter, mate, and thank you for your support. What did he do in training? The coaching is non-existent. Gio van Bronckhorst, what does he actually do? I don't know, but it feels like we're missing Johnny Heidinger. Right, so after 13,600 votes, we had 70% of people who either said Slot out or Slot leaning out. 70% of over 13,500 votes. So 43% were straight Slot out. Unsure but leaning out, 27%. So as you can see, 70% there overall. In, 18%. And unsure but leaning in, 12%. That's where the people in our chat are right now. So I'm going to go record the player ratings. If you'd like to submit your player ratings, scan that QR code there on the screen. That brings you to the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, where you will see the form in there to submit your ratings. We'll then average them out and compare them with mine. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. I would say enjoy your weekend, but if you're acting like me, you won't be able to. And thank you to our mods. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. I really do appreciate your ongoing support, and fingers crossed there are better days ahead. So honestly, thank you all. I really do appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.